Welcome to the Lockbox! Lockbox!
Welcome to the Lockbox, Lockbox.
That never gets old.
Hello again, guys, and welcome to the Lockbox episode 6. Today I'm joined by Rob, Tesseract, and Borsha. Rob is the leader of Anher, the leader of Odyssey, otherwise known as Anher.
Pleasure's all yours.
And boy, have we got a packed show for you today.
We sure do.
Stunned silence. Should we kick it off with some DC news?
Let's talk about the test server.
Cool. Yeah, DLC 8 has gone live on the test server. Who's been on there messing about with it?
We all have. We got some videos up on the channel showing the new content, Celestial, which is having quite a bit of negative feedback, I think.
Yeah, I'd seen that. People have been trying it. I think they were hoping for some really OP DPS power set, but it's not been that way. It's been
a bit underpowered, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it got nerfed. Like the first day it was up, it was really powerful. There was dot stacking and stuff like that, and they nerfed it like by about half the damage, and now it's pretty terrible. But
I heard the healing was good.
Yeah, the healer's supposed to be quite good fun. So
it's the test server, people. Give your feedback in a constructive manner, and I'm sure they'll do something on that.
It's handy though having an OP healer power set. You never know. This may have been their intention in the first place to have a power set that was specifically for healing rather than DPS.
Well, don't really need that, I think. I mean, what we got, like, nature's pretty good. Don't need to have anything better than that. Sorcery's about the same. Never really had a go on electricity, but they're all pretty good, actually. Good enough.
Look, I think the point is that this is a new direction for healing, and sort of DPS as well. I know you got it with Hard Light in terms of chaining combos together, but because it's only been done once before, it's still a work in progress. So I think they're trying something new, something dynamic, and it's in that process of trying to balance itself out at the moment.
It looks very, very pretty.
we do need to give it a shot in one of the new raids, one of the DLC 7 raids, and see how it can stack up in that.
Yeah.
I don't know how well the comboing is going to work when you're going to be, in the middle of combat.
Yeah, I mean, we get some comments and suggestions and questions. Can we please do a raid with it? Can we do a raid with it, a healer and a DPS? And the thing is, we can go in there and do it, but everything is subject to change. The content, the raids, the alerts, sorry, not raids in this one, but the alerts and operations, or whatever's in there, that's unlikely to change. It's there, the map's there, the enemies are there, but the power set is subject to change. So we'll throw it up, and then by the time it goes live, something could be dramatically different. So I don't know.
I don't know. I reckon it's going to be worth trying though, because if it is OP, you've got more scope for having a single healer in the raid, getting more DPS, especially in Paradox, smashing through that with one healer.
Well, you can already do that with one healer with the other power sets.
I know, but a lot of leagues probably couldn't do that. I don't know. What about the other content? The duos and the alert. What were you thinking about those?
I haven't actually had a chance to run those yet. Every time I try and log in, I've only got so long to do it, and it takes me an hour to actually get logged in.
I haven't tried out the new content myself, but I was in the TeamSpeak channel the other day with some people that were running through the alert, and they're like, oh, this isn't too bad, it's quite run-of-the-mill. And they got to the boss fight at the end, and then everybody was like, this is amazing! This is great! This screen shaking, the boss fight is brilliant, and it made me really jealous, but I don't want to try it out because I'm saving myself for when it goes live.
Yeah, same here, to be honest.
Yeah, the issue itself, though, is that Trigon, you don't actually fight him. He's there in the background as a enemy throwing stuff at you, but I find that a bit disappointing. I'd love to have been able to have a proper smackdown with him.
I can only hope that they're saving it for a future 3-part DLC.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if you got one where he's actually in the city somewhere and he's standing up and you have to fly up to punch him in the face. Something like that.
God of War style.
Yeah.
Maybe Shadow of the Colossus.
Mm-hmm.
Gotham Wasteland, I mean, I don't know if people have seen the live stream of that when Jens did that, but it looks very cool. The demonic models have been reworked, that looks very good. And the Raven-inspired gear looks very cool as well.
There's also the little details, the NPCs. You've obviously got the Titans wandering around there, and there's some funny conversations that you can have with them. I think there's a conversation thread that you can follow between all of the Titans, where I think somebody owes Beast Boy money. But yeah, there's just the little details they're always good.
We got Superboy as well.
Yeah, Connor Kent.
But
I saw him flying in the background. I didn't think he could fly.
yeah.
Yeah, his power is
He's
a bit weird.
Superboy.
It's tactile telekinesis, as he would quickly inform you if you were reading Young Justice.
His powers are based on Superman's, but because he's like a clone of Superman and a human, so he's sort of half Kryptonian. So his powers aren't as powerful as Superman's, but they're based on him.
In the Young Justice cartoon, they made it so that he couldn't fly. They made it so they kind of limited his powers a bit. But in the comics, he's always had basically Kryptonian powers. They came up with slightly different reasons for how they work initially, but I can't remember if they ever retconned that.
I don't know whether he's been a bit underutilised in this new DLC. Is he just like an NPC in the background, or does he actually take part in any of the stuff that you're doing in there?
They've said before that in various points the Titans, or the villain equivalent, the Fearsome Five, that's them, isn't it? They jump in on various boss fights and things, so as I say, I've not seen them myself, but he might end up turning up.
We need more Superboy because he's a pretty cool character in the comics.
We don't need more fucking... Sorry for the swear word. We don't need more Superman-inspired persons. We've got all that. We need something new.
Like what?
We got Raven here. Have more magic-inspired beings. I mean, I don't know if Raven's powers are based on magic, but visually it looks like it does.
Trigon still controls Raven, and Raven still controls Dana.
Yeah, she is a sorceress, and her powers come from the fact that she's half demon, but it is basically magic.
Yeah, we've got all Superman and stuff like that. Just leave them be, I think, for the future.
No more lanterns.
We've got those coming up.
I know.
And then in Gotham Wastelands is the purchasable 86 gear, which I think is the most, for many of us in Odyssey, is the pivotal point, because we go through the raids chasing after this 86 gear, it doesn't drop. But now we have an opportunity to purchase it with marks, which will be fantastic.
It's pivotal, isn't it, Rob? It's pivotal.
Yes. Because it means I can just leave Nexus alone.
So, massive thumbs up?
Yeah, thumbs up, definitely.
Yeah, thumbs up.
Yeah. It's all new content. It's like a big area for you to travel around.
It
Loads of
looks
new
really
stuff to
cool.
do.
Gotham Wasteland looks brilliant.
And I'm glad that they've reskinned the demons or they're going to reskin the demons in the open world as well. I think that's a nice little follow over from the DLC. Nice. Well done, DC.
No release date for that yet. Trying to remember historically when it gets released. So it goes into test, and then I think it's like 2 weeks later it goes live.
Origin Crisis are at 2 weeks.
How about the update? It's on there as well, isn't it?
Yeah, update 29.
Yeah.
There's a couple of little things, like they seem to be moving the broker around. They're moving everything into the wings beside where the mailboxes are, apparently.
Yeah, I didn't really understand that. I think the motive was to have, because in the Watchtower or Hall of Doom, you've got people focused in the central point. The broker and the mailboxes are really close together, so I think that they want people to space out and be in different areas, make it more of a, active in the quieter areas. But I don't think that's necessary. in Watchtower, for example, we've got that bridge where we all stand on. We've got the broker underneath. We've got the male to the left. Everyone's there throwing stuff around, talking. I think
I like that actually.
Yeah, if you start forcing people to venture out from centralized locations, then you haven't got that dense population, and you're going to miss out on conversations and just random duels that happen at that time.
I'm not convinced it's going to really push people far away anyway. I mean, we're all so in the habit of hanging out in those spaces. I mean, so many of us have our own bases for the mailbox and the broker and all that.
Yeah, that is true actually. That's stuff I do in my base, so.
So apart from DLC 8 being on the test server, there's not much else been going on in DC at the moment, has there?
Oh, another update. Is it 29 we're on? It's going to be the individual loot.
That sounds interesting actually.
I mean, the new loot system, so everyone gets their own loot table. Nothing's changing in terms of what can drop or the chances of it dropping. It's just that you're not competing against the other people if something does drop. If that makes sense.
So it'll go straight to your inventory.
Yeah.
Which will be nice.
But you're going to get a load of crap that you don't want. But you can always salvage it.
Well, is it like when loot drops, everyone gets the same, or it'll be different for everyone as well?
Different for everybody. So there's still that chance that you go in, the healer gets damaged traces in time belt, whereas the DPS gets a tank chest. So it's still got that random element, but you're not competing against each other for it. And that is a massive step forward for an MMO of today's standards.
But half the fun is needing on something and getting it that somebody really, really wants. And then get them raging at you.
Are they updating it for across the entire game, or is it only for the most recent content that they're doing this?
That I'm not sure upon.
Because I'm fairly sure they've said they're going back, a couple of DLCs maybe, but they're not doing the entire game.
Just open the DC forums and it says it's only in place for the tier 5 content for this game update.
Presumably they'll work their way back to sort everything else out then?
Presumably, yes. It wouldn't kind of make sense for it to be only in the latest content. Because there's still players out there who are going through the content.
It should be good though.
So moving on from DC, what else have we been playing?
Yeah, well, I took a little break from DC. Well, at the moment there's not much new, and been playing Payday 2.
Oh yeah?
Yeah,
Payday 2?
Payday 2. An awesome game, I reckon, if you like shooters and co-op shooters.
So what's it all about? What happens in Payday 2?
You rob banks.
You've probably seen some of the videos.
Yeah, we
channel.
made some videos, a couple of speed runs, but yeah, there's some shootout videos as well.
The thing is that I don't really see it as a shooter in the traditional sense. It's not Call of Duty. You don't go around blazing cops and civilians. There are different ways to do it that get you different rewards. So, for example, you can go into a bank vault and you can go loud. You can run in, you can shoot everybody, you can break into the vault, take what's on the table and get out of there as quick as possible. But you seem to get rewarded more if you go in silently. So you're really stealthy. You've got perks and skills that allow you to take out an armed guard quietly and answer a pager to try and convince the other people that there's no issues.
Most of the times, if you do that, go stealth, it's quicker as well, because you can turn off the mainframes and stuff like that, so you can get into the vault easier.
Yeah.
If you go in guns blazing, then most of the times you'll have to drill your way through, which takes a lot of time, and a lot of assault waves will come your way.
So it's sort of a modern day contemporary version of the Thief games. You can go in all guns blazing, or you can stealth your way through.
Yeah. I mean, funny, Borsker and I, Blair was playing it the other day, and he had all the right traits and stuff, so he stealthed it, and we went into the vault, and it was just the two of us. And I can't remember off the top of my head how many boxes there are, lock boxes that you can open for additional loot, but we were in there, must have been, what, 15, 20 minutes opening them all?
Yeah. Luckily, two other guys joined us at that stage, so finished it a bit quicker. But yeah, if you do it, I done it alone once, and I've been there over 20 minutes, 20, 30 minutes, just trying to open them all. Yeah, it takes up a long time. But
Yeah.
then again, if there's like bags of money on the table inside the vault, you can settle with that and walk out with just the bags of money. But if you're greedy, well, like me, then you want to take everything and want to open all the lockboxes.
How well does the game lend itself to playing it solo, as soon as it's a co-op game? I know you have NPC support in there, don't you? Or
well,
bot
you gotta
support.
spec into the right trees if you want to do that. But for most of the things, it's way easier if you, well, yeah, if you got more people with you in other roles. For instance, I spec'd into Ghost and Mastermind, but then again, I can't blow up saves. I'll have to drill them, and that'll take a long time. So it's easy to have someone with C4 with you, so you can plant some C4 on the saves and open the door quickly, so you can run out quick. But yeah,
A lot more fun as well, I find, with multiple people. If you're on TeamSpeak, verbal communication. We were doing this instance called Framing Frame, where you have to break into a museum and steal certain pictures, and one of your teammates is on the cameras, you hack into the cameras and you can view each of the halls. One of the guys is down there stealthing to move around to count the number of paintings. It's really good.
Yeah, that's a really good mission actually. Or that last part, like it's the whole mission is divided in a couple of days' works. But the last day you have to go into this big mansion and you have to set this guy up. So you have to go in there and get into the vault and plant some coke in there and steal his gold. And that was really, really nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I've played quite a few games in recent times, but very few have ever caused me to, be quite nervous about playing. Saying it in the game itself, we're all trying to be stealth, so I'm afraid to move around a corner or something in case I get seen and ruin the whole thing.
So how does the game...
I'm terrible at stealth games.
I'm sure I'd rather just go in all guns.
Well, that's why you go in there as a group, and one is good at stealthing and does that, and the other one, that's really funny. When I go in there stealth and I steal a picture, Sam will be up on top of the roof, and I'll just throw the paintings up to him, and he'll catch him, and then, well, everyone's got his own role. Someone carries him over to the van while the other one steals another. Yeah, really fun. It's really good.
Yeah, and if it does go south, you have the opportunity to just go loud, shoot everybody, get what you can, and get out as quick as you can.
So how does the game differ from Payday 1? What are the main differences? Is it much the same thing as what they've done before, or have they added new elements to the game that you can incorporate into your loadout?
Yeah, it's basically the same, but it's just way better. Now you can upgrade your guns, and there's more different stuff in there.
Yeah, like any expansion to a previous, well, not saying expansion, but it's Payday 2, but based on Payday the Heist, the first one. So it's got very common elements, much the same. The objectives are the same, but you've just got new maps. Like Borski said, new moddable weapons.
Yeah, you can craft your own masks and stuff like that.
You've got your own safe house as well, which I'm not quite sure what their plan is to do with that, because you get something called an offshore account. You get money saved up in there. They hint about being able to customize it, but no news on that as yet.
No, that'll be a DLC or an update. It's not in there yet. But,
so
yeah.
the game is actually live now, is it? It's actually released?
Yeah, it's been live now for 5-6 days or something, I don't know. Yeah.
About that.
So massive thumbs up from you guys for Payday 2.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Very unique.
Check it out.
Definitely. Very addictive.
Tesseract,
Flame Fury.
do you have any news for us?
I was just gonna mention any tabletop role players. There's a series of movies called the Gamers movies, and the most recent one's just been released online. The first one was made by this company called Dead Gentleman, and they've since collaborated into a project, and it's now Zombie Orpheus Entertainment that make them. And they're just fantastic movies. The first one was made on like $500 or something. It looks like a really low budget thing, but it's hysterical. It's about 45 minutes long, and you can get all of it on YouTube. And about 5 or 6 years later, they made another one, The Gamers 2: Darkness Rising, and this is an actual movie. It's made with a proper budget, and it's you get half of it is the group of gamers sitting around the table, and the other half is the characters that they're playing in the world that they're gaming in, and it just flicks between the two, and it's just got this fantastic humour in it. For anybody who's ever tabletop gamed, you'll see yourselves in it a lot. And they've just released the third one. The third one you're able to watch it. They're streaming it for free for the next week or so, I think. And they're a really cool company because they're doing all the kind of group funding. It was all kickstarted, and they generally make them available for download and things. They've also done a web series called Journey Quest, it's got a similar sense of humour, but it's set entirely in the kind of the fantasy world, so you don't have the actual tabletop gaming aspect of it. But it's very much based on your D&D type world. And there's 2 seasons of Journey Quest now, and you can get all of that on YouTube. It's just some really good stuff. I highly recommend it.
Maybe we can stick some links in the description below,
Yeah,
so that people can click on those and check it out. So these guys in the movie, like really typically geeky guys like us.
In the first one, they were all kind of really geeky guys. I think there's a joke made about one of the players keeps not turning up because he keeps going on dates and things, and the others sit for a moment and ponder what that means. But in the second one, they actually have a girl join the group, and there's some interesting jokes made about that.
A girl?
A girl, yes. They talk about bikini male.
I'll have to check them out as well. They sound quite interesting. It sounds sort of like the who's it? Jay and Silent Bob. Who's that guy? Kevin Smith. He's done some stuff sort of similar to that, hasn't he?
I've not seen many of his films. I mean, Dogma was brilliant, but...
Anyway, I've got some news.
What news do you have?
Hit us with it.
Got some genre news. Got some great news this week. I've got some Star Wars, Superman, Batman. Do you want to hear it?
No.
Oh.
Yeah,
I'm going to tell you anyway.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Star Wars Episode 7. I've heard a rumour that the Emperor will be returning for Episode 7 of Star Wars.
The Emperor?
The Emperor. The Emperor that was chucked down a big shaft at the end of Return of the Jedi.
Oh, you do like talking about shafts, don't you?
Oh, don't get me started on shafts.
You got yourself started.
How do they plan to bring him back?
Well,
Is that understood at all?
rumours are that, well, if you're familiar with Expanded Universe, which I am, in the Expanded Universe, the books and the comics and stuff, the Emperor did return after his death as a clone. He had like a series of clones of himself, and he was just able to inhabit their bodies. But another more interesting rumour is that he'll return as a Force ghost, like Obi-Wan and Yoda did in the original movies, which would be quite interesting, I think, because we haven't seen a Sith Force ghost, so we don't know how that will manifest itself, whether he's just going to appear everywhere and try to turn everyone to the dark side. I don't know.
Here's hoping for that, because the films keep going to this cloning world. Television series, there's nothing unique about it anymore. Whereas this Force Ghost, I think, is quite unique to the franchise. But I mean, can Force Ghosts even manipulate, or do they have any kind of abilities as that form?
Well, I don't think we've actually seen that in the original trilogy. I mean, Obi-Wan and Yoda, or Obi-Wan mainly, he was there just as an advisor to Luke, really pointing him in the right direction. But I could see with the Emperor doing it, he'd be sort of, I don't know, maybe trying to intimidate people, or I don't know, scare them.
Isn't there a line in the very first film, A New Hope, I think it is, where Vader strikes Obi-Wan, and before he does, Obi-Wan makes a comment about, if you strike me down now, I'll become more powerful than you ever imagined, or something like that, isn't there?
Yeah, that was it.
But there's no context to that. I mean, power in what form?
Well, I think it was because that when Obi-Wan struck down, there's nothing else that can be done to him. He can manifest anywhere. He can appear to whoever he wants to do. He's one with the Force now, and he can't really be affected by anything. He can't be like just banished by someone if they don't want him there. But I don't think he actually force lifts or pushes or anything like that, or fights anyone in ghost form. But I don't know, it's all new territory. If the Sith, it might be different for the Sith. The Sith could be like poltergeists that pick people up and chuck them around and stuff. We don't know. But anyway.
Is it, are they getting Ian McDermott back to play it?
Yes, that is the other part of the rumour. I mean, he must be getting on, but he was in the latest trilogy, and of course he was playing Senator Palpatine in that, who turned into Darth Sidious at the end. So I reckon he could still be up for a few of them. And plus he was in heavy makeup for those at the end. Yeah. So
he's from my home city.
Is he?
Yeah. Which is quite
funny
funny if you've ever been to Dundee, but Emperor of all the Galaxy.
Did you ever go round for tea?
No.
Coffee?
Oh.
No. Never actually met him.
Oh. Perhaps he'll manifest himself to you one day.
I have met Samuel L. Jackson, though.
Have you?
I have.
Where did you meet him?
He plays golf.
Back alley.
I used to work on a golf course, as Scotland is famous for. And he plays golf. And he comes over every year to play in this competition that happens to be at the golf course I worked at, so I served him a hot dog.
Oh. Did he try to serve one to you?
And that's not a euphemism.
And he served you some black pudding.
Okay, so moving on from Star Wars, got some Superman news.
Interesting. Go on.
And I suppose everybody knows by now that the next Superman movie is going to incorporate Batman into it in some form. We don't know how yet, or what their relationship is going to be.
Well, it's going to be a new one.
What do you mean?
A new Batman, because Bale ain't going to do it.
Yeah, well, I'm coming to that in a moment, but what I was going to touch on is the big bad in the new Superman movie and who that's going to be. And a lot of people are touting it to be Lex Luthor.
Well, he had to turn up eventually.
Yeah, but
I just hope they can do him right this time.
My news is, who's going to be playing Lex Luthor in the new movie? Yes, and there are two main sort of choices that are being bandied around at the moment. You may have heard of them. Number one is Bryan Cranston, and if you don't know the name, you'll know him as the dad out of Malcolm in the Middle.
Is he not from Breaking Bad as well?
Yeah, he's also in Breaking Bad. And if you've watched Breaking Bad, you can see, and this is my own personal thoughts as well, how good he would be at playing Lex Luthor. I think he would be my top choice because he is totally mental and evil in Breaking Bad, and I think he'd be really, really a really, really good choice to play Lex Luthor.
Who's the other one?
His name is Mark Strong.
Oh yes,
Oh, yeah. Well, I think he'd be a better one, actually.
he's played the bad guy in pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't he play in Revolver as well? Every time I see him, he still reminds me of that role, Daughter, I think it was. That
Yeah.
Hitman. Yeah, that was great.
He also played one of the bad guys in the first Kick-Ass film. He was the mafia boss, wasn't he? He was the father of the... I can't remember the name of the...
Red Mist or something.
Red Mist, yeah. It was his father.
More DC related, he was Sinestro.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
In heavy makeup. He played Sinestro in the Green Lantern film.
And
I'm
Lord
not sure...
Blackwood in Sherlock Holmes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's been the bad guy in pretty much everything.
Yeah. So
Stardust as well.
he's got the experience to play a bad guy.
Yeah. But
I'm
I
not
don't
sure
know...
I see him as Lex Luthor though.
No, I don't either. Out of him and Bryan Cranston, I'd choose Bryan Cranston any day.
The thing I say about Bryan Cranston though is he seems a bit old.
Yeah. I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, they can do wonders with makeup as well. They just put a load of foundation on him before he starts filming. But I just think Bryan Cranston's got the real acting chops where he can be like really happy and upbeat and a good guy 1 minute and then just switch. Turn into this really evil person. Bryan Cranston all the way, I say.
Here's hoping that the rumours are false and it's not Lex Luthor in a new Superman film. We've had enough Luthor. There's so many other beings that could be used.
I think you have to have Lex Luthor in it. You say he's been overused. I say he's never been done right. Not even close.
No.
Except, and I can't believe I'm saying this, Smallville of all things managed to do a really good Lex Luthor, and like none of the movies managed it at all.
Well, Lex Luthor is meant to be like a megalomaniac, super billionaire, head of industry, but we haven't really seen that in one of the Superman films.
Yeah, he had this ridiculous plan about bloody real estate of all things. I mean, come on.
We need to see him as the head of corporations, which I think would work well in the new Superman movie, like rebuilding a metropolis after the big battle. And Lex Luthor is the head of these corporations that are fixing up all the buildings and basically putting himself into the infrastructure of Metropolis at its very basic level. We see his influence everywhere. It could turn out to be a good story. Anyway, moving on from that. There's still a lot of hoo-ha about who's actually going to play Batman in the new movie. I don't want to stay on this for too long because you could speculate all year. Or
There was one
years.
name I heard which I was really confused by, which was Orlando Bloom.
Oh,
I don't see that one at all.
no.
He
I'd
looks a
rather
fair amount like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, so if they were going for continuing from that point on, I could maybe see that they were doing that. But I still think it's a bad idea.
The idea was to have Batman as sort of like a grizzled veteran, a vigilante who's been doing this sort of thing for years and is turning out to be a mentor for Superman, like teaching him how to limit collateral damage and how to be more intelligent when he's fighting. So I could see him sort of being like an older guy, like a grizzled veteran that's sort of like not a father figure, but an actual teacher.
No, I think that would be an absolutely wrong direction. How could a Batman presume to understand the power that this one being possesses? I mean, in Man of Steel, a lot of people are like, oh, look what happened to the city, that's not Superman, he doesn't do that. But he didn't have a choice in the matter, as far as I'm concerned. When someone of that much power, of equivalent level as you, is doing whatever he wants to do, and you're being thrown into a building, I don't know, I don't think I could see Batman take that kind of role.
Batman could always say to him that, Clark, if you're going to do this next time, can you take it outside the city, please? Because look what's happened.
But
That's
the thing, though. At what point could Superman in Man of Steel dictate the course of the battle? He couldn't. There was no opportunity for him to remove Zod because Zod was just as powerful. That's like you saying to
I
me.
think the implication was that Zod was a soldier, and that's what made him better at fighting than Superman. And that is the training that Clark hasn't had, which Batman could provide. I think the Metropolis fight isn't the best example of it. I think the Smallville fight is the best example of it. Because only one guy did they show you him stopping the fight to try and save, and that was obviously the guy that had lines. But there was so many other people getting in the way and things being thrown about in that fight that he could have been making more effort to contain.
Batman could say to him, look, you've got to be more intelligent about these things. Don't let them come to you. Or, no, let them come to you. Go outside the city. If somebody's coming after you, take it out of a populated area and let them come to you. Like, do it over the middle of the ocean or something.
But I think it would be a fair point to say that, you know, as strong as Superman is, he hasn't trained in how to properly fight. And
No.
Batman has, so for Batman to teach him that, I think would be a fair plot point.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I agree with this entire movie at all, but, you know, I'll give them that one.
Maybe that was the point of all the destruction at the end of Man of Steel, because they were going to address his mistakes in the second movie. I think that would be good, because there's been a lot of fan hate about how reckless Superman was in the Man of Steel. Maybe they can pick up on that in the new movie. I've got 6 names for who could be Batman, and some you recognise and some you won't. But these are the names that have been bandied around. Max Martini, number 1. Anybody heard of him?
No.
Pacific Rim, he was in that apparently.
I haven't
Grizzled
seen that.
Badass.
Was he the Australian guy?
I haven't got a clue. But apparently he recently stole some scenes in Pacific Rim. I recognise the face, but...
I think he might be the dad in Pacific Rim, the dad of the Australian guy.
He's Shingler if it helps.
Yeah, that's him.
Number 2, Joe Manganiello. Joe Manganiello. I can't say
I've never heard of him.
He plays Alcide in True Blood, the werewolf guy. And to be honest, I think he'd be a good choice, because he's about 7 foot tall and he looks as hard as nails. And he would be a good Batman in my eyes. If you watch True Blood, he plays Alcide, the leader of the wolf pack, in that. Number 3, Josh Brolin. Heard of him?
Yeah.
He was in... Well, he's been in a lot of stuff. But he was in Gangster Squad, which is his most recent film, probably. And he's got the look for a Batman, I'd say. Maybe a little too old at 46, though. I think he could be a good choice. I think he's actually the son of a famous actor called James Brolin. I could be wrong. But he's got the acting pedigree there, anyway. Matthew Good, number 4. He played Ozymandias in Watchmen.
Don't really see him.
No, he looks a bit too skinny. I don't know. But he's...
They're, just a point on these actors. Their current physical form has no bearing on what they could become. As an actor, they could transform them in such magnitudes. You know, the right form of exercise, training, and diet and stuff. So bear that in mind when you're having a look at these people that we're mentioning.
Yeah. I think I'm just trying to picture someone that I could see playing Batman, and none of these really stick out for me at the moment.
I've just googled this one. You said Matthew Good. there's a few pictures on Google Images with him with dark hair, and he looks the right age. He looks like an actual contender for the role. If they sorted out his physicality side of things, then I could definitely see him as a candidate.
Number 5 on my list is Richard Armitage. Another name you're probably not too familiar with, but he's done some stuff.
He was Thor and Oakenshield in The Hobbit.
Yes. So you'd see him in that. He was also in the Robin Hood TV series, the most recent one on UK TV. The name of it, I can't remember the actual name of the show. But I think that's where we first sort of saw him. But Thor and Oakenshield is probably his most recognisable role at the moment.
I quite like him.
I think he could be
Trying to
good.
picture him as Bruce Wayne, he could probably manage it.
And number 6, the most controversial choice, Ryan Gosling.
Good actor, but I don't think
No.
it would be a good role.
If he plays Batman, I will not go and see it.
No.
I don't even know why his name's been put on this list, apart from he's practically in every film that's released at the moment. He's got the acting skills for it, but he's just not. He looks like a schoolboy with a beard.
Yes.
I don't think he could play the Batman.
I don't know about you guys, but I'll be starting up a petition to see George Clooney return as a Batman.
Well, leading on from that, apparently Christian Bale has been offered $50 million to reprise his role as Batman.
That's a lot of money.
Could make him think twice.
But I don't think it should happen. I don't think he should take the money.
I don't think he should do it the role. I've got my fingers crossed it's not Bale. He's in the Nolan Batmans, he embodied the physicality, but the story didn't portray Batman in the right mental capacity, I think.
Yeah. I thought he was a good Batman, but I grew disillusioned with the Nolan franchise.
Not only that, if you're dragging Christian Bale out of retirement to play Batman again, it's going to cause too much confusion with fans, because I don't think he'll be playing the same Batman that he played in the Nolan films. He's just a recognisable face, and there'll be some people won't be able to reconcile the Nolan Batman universe that was supposed to be standalone, no other superheroes, or anything, and then but just plonking him into this new this Superman universe where there is superheroes. I just don't think that it will work. But I guess the studios want a recognisable face that they know is popular with the fans, but I just think it would damage the film if they did this. Anyway, that's my genre news for this week. Coming up later in the show, or coming up now actually, we've got a special interview for you this week actually, and we actually have Supertoad from the Revengencers with us.
That's a USPC league?
Yeah, and they've appeared on Friday Night Legends, I think a couple of times now, haven't they, Tess?
They've been on it once as the kind of the starring league. I think they might have appeared on some PvP ones, maybe.
Yeah, very unique league and very, very funny if you've seen any of their YouTube videos. But it's definitely one to watch this week. So if you're ready, we can move over now and drag Supertoad in.
Definitely.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, baby.
Welcome, Supertoad.
Howdy.
Welcome.
Hello, mate.
Howdy.
So I can tell from your accent that you're from America.
Yes, I am. Good call.
I thought it was Australian.
Australian. I'm from Austin, Texas.
Austin,
And
Texas.
For the viewers at home, I live 15 minutes from the SOE studios where they produce the game.
Oh, how often do you go over there?
I have never gone over there. Although, funny story, at SOE Live, I was at the pool party where Meps was imbibing, and he invited me to the studio.
Oh.
But he was completely drunk, and he totally forgot.
You should have gone for it.
Which
Oh,
is,
I haven't asked them about it yet. But Radar X and Dexella were there, and they were sober, so they remember, and that's the important thing.
just link them to this episode.
Named
Gentle
and
reminder.
shamed.
So, Supertoad, you are a member of the Revengencers, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Tell us a bit about them.
About the Revengencers. We're like Odyssey on the USPC side, except completely different. Our motto is cool, casual, joke, block, in that order. We've got maybe 20 active members, 40 total that come on and off. We're very vehement about not taking ourselves seriously at all. We play to have fun.
Cool stuff.
Words to live by.
I think.
We don't have that much fun in Odyssey.
Not at all.
It's absolute slave driver in charge.
I
Pretty
know
boring,
that's not true.
actually.
So what made you start playing DCUO then?
I was reading the trades in 2008, like PC Gamer and whatnot, and I heard that they were developing the game. And I'm a comics geek, I guess you could say. And I had been following the development, and when they decided to go from just PC to cross-platform, and I started watching the YouTube videos with the old Chris Kao and Jens Anderson, and I was getting super psyched, and I started playing Champions Online as like a fix for a superhero game, and that game was fun, I guess. I don't want to badmouth it. It had a great character create, I'll tell you that. I mean, I spent hours in just character create, making stupid things. But then I got a beta key for DCUO, and I played the beta for 15 minutes, and I logged out and canceled my sub to Champions Online. The DCUO, I'm not ashamed to say it, it almost made me cry, the level of graphics and the detail in the game. And my one story that I always tell is the thing that made me log out and cancel my sub to Champions was flying across the water and flying really low to the water and just seeing the spray up and hearing the effects, and I was like, well, that's it.
So cool.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm out. See you later. And I played all through beta, day one, and I stopped playing when they had the hack because I had some information compromised. Nothing big. But I stopped playing, and I was like, well, screw this. You know, they're not real serious about their security and whatnot. Then 3 months later, like a heroin addict, I went back because they had fixed their security issues, and they're really good about it now. And I went back, and I haven't looked back.
That sort of reflects my history of DCUO, because I played Champions Online immediately before DC as well, as a stand-in waiting for it to arrive.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was doing. I was waiting for it to come out.
So was Supertoad your first character as well, or had you gone through different ones to try out all the power sets and things until you settled on the character everyone knows you as now?
Supertoad is the character I started with when I came back the second time. And the first time I played from beta, I was Ranger X, because that was the name of my tune in Champions Online. And I was an ice tank, and I was a horrible ice tank. I freely admit that.
We've got a couple of those as well.
Speaking of ice tanks, I played Cold Fusion on the test server for that Fight the Devs thing. And that guy knows how to play Bane. I'm just going to say that right now. I was flying into the bottom node in Ace, and I saw him, and I was like, hey, it's Cold Fusion! I'm going to totally ignore everything else in the match and just beat up on him for a while.
Yeah, we do that too.
That did not end well for me. But it was fun. But yeah, Supertoad's been I started with him the second time I played, and Supertoad is a character that I've been messing with since elementary school.
What role power set is he?
I'm a nature healer.
Oh, cool.
Unless I
So-
change to a light user or a electricity DPS.
So was that how Revengencers came about? Was that when you returned to the game, or was it around beforehand?
They were called Casual Justice before I came back, and I was in a duo. I just hit level 30, and I was in a duo with a member of Casual Justice named Mighty Oak, and he recruited me from that duo. And then I was in Casual Justice for 4 months, and then we split and formed the Revengencers because Casual Justice was going hardcore inactive. So then we formed the Revengencers. Me, Tractor, Drennan, Minx, and Gant.
And it's still going strong.
It is.
Well,
I
I
am-
mean, is DC is your main focus for gaming, or do you venture into other ones as well?
I'm ashamed to say that I started playing a bit of Skyrim. But I got over it quick and but yeah, DC is my main game. I don't play any other MMOs. I tried that Marvel one for about 5 minutes and realized that I didn't like Diablo when it came out the first time, so I don't play that anymore.
Have you always been into gaming and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't into MMOs until I heard about this game coming out, and then I went to Champions, like I said. And so Champions and this are really the only MMOs I've played seriously. But I've been a console gamer for forever. My brother plays DCUO on a PS3, and that's just hard to watch.
I really can't understand how anybody can play DC with a controller. It's just aliens. to
It's
me.
the only way to play it.
That's how I play. I play with a controller. And you can tell if you watch the PvP tournament at SOE Live.
Who was it that you were playing as then? Your character name? Were you not Christiana?
I was not Christiana. The first match that we played against Christiana and Soar, they didn't tell me, or Zeke, my partner, they didn't tell us that we were supposed to change our names to our in-game names. So when it came to the second match against Daddy-O, they said, well, use the name change token and change your name. And I tried to change it to Supertoad, and it wouldn't let me. So I did all the variables, X, Supertoad X, capital X, little x, Supertoad, etc. On and on and on. And then they said, well, just say Toad. So I did Toad. It wouldn't let me do anything with Toad, anything with Super. I mean, I had Meps there first, then I had Eric Duncan there, then Spord came over, then Tunso came over. So I had 6 devs around me trying to figure out why I couldn't name myself a name, and they finally just said, name yourself anything. So I said, not Christiana. And Christiana did not like that. And of course I lost the second round, so there we go. But it was fun.
Not from Christiana.
Yeah. But he made some money on the roulette, so he was fine.
Was Meps just rolling about in the background, drunk? Or was
He-
he actually working there?
Everyone's telling the story that like he was, naked and streaking across the dance floor, but he was sitting on the side of a planter with Red RX and Dexella, and he was totally chill. He was very chatty, but he had to be carried, quote unquote, to his room afterwards.
He doesn't look like the type of person who can handle his drink. There's not enough of him.
Well, he was drinking brandy, so that right there, that's a strike against him. But
We were just disappointed that he didn't seem to be wearing the cape this year.
yeah, I drew a cartoon for them, reenacting what I saw that night, and I made sure to put the cape on him in that one.
You just mentioned you're right, and I think a lot of people will know you from that, the few pictures that you put up on the official forums. There is no other league out there that I know of that has a member who is producing art of that caliber. Was it something as you played you thought you'd get into, or was somebody asking you to paint to draw these things, or?
I've been drawing literally since I can remember. I do it somewhat professionally, mostly advertising stuff. It's not that big of a deal. I'm not getting a lot of work right now. But all of the cartoon ideas started from just all of us talking on TeamSpeak. I mean, we say we're on TeamSpeak to communicate and coordinate, but it's really just to insult everyone and tell jokes and basically try to see who can get everyone else to crack up.
You
And
really are like Odyssey.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
bitchin'. No, the first cartoon I ever drew for the site, and it was just a lark. It was just, well, this is funny. I'm gonna draw it. Was a picture of Supertoad completely naked except for his underwear, and it was what was it titled? The loot roll against Drennan goes horribly wrong. And it was just me standing in front of one of the entrances to the fortress, and little eyes against darkness, and I'm sitting there holding out my fingers like guns because Drennan's taking everything. And just a little bubble on the side is Drennan going, "Thanks for the loot, Toad." And it was that one, and everyone in the league just freaked out. They thought it was hilarious, so I just kept going from there.
What kind of time is involved in drawing those things? Is it do you get the seed of the idea and then you sketch it out and it takes a couple of hours, or is there more behind that kind of process?
Depending on what I'm doing, for the one shots, the single panel stuff, I get the idea, and it takes about 15 minutes to formulate it. Then it'll take, depending on the kind of detail I want to put in it, it'll take upwards from 30 minutes to 2 hours to draw it, another 30 minutes to an hour to ink it, and then I scan it, and if I'm going to color it, which I've been doing a lot of now, if it doesn't have any effects, it'll take me about 15 minutes to color it. If there's effects, then it'll take a little bit longer. I use paint.net because it's free, and I'm not trying to, do any kind of super effects.
So have you got any particularly favourite drawings that you've done, or drawings that have been particularly successful that people have commented on? Or any that have had a real impact with the community?
With the community, the first couple of pages of our comic book that I put out got a big reaction, and then I put out 3 more pages, and it's the comic book that's I'm getting most reaction of.
And then you might have gotten some reaction from the one with Jens being a unicorn. I thought that one was quite well received.
Yeah, that was a great one.
Jens's wife heard about that and made him post it on Twitter so she could see it. And I gave him the original at SOE Live. And funny story, right before I gave him the original, I was about to stand, because it was the Meet the Devs panel, and we were done, and I was standing up because I was going to go up and say, "Hey, here's the original, just thought you'd like it, whatever." And then Bumbling Bee gives him a freaking oil painting of him and Britt. Here you go, hey. It's like,
yeah, we've seen that. It's quite good.
It was awesome, but it's like, okay, here's a black and white cartoon. Hope you like it.
And here's an oil painting in a gold frame with diamonds on it.
Yeah, exactly. I made the paint out of my own blood and flesh. It's like, okay. He dug it. That was cool. And then I gave Meps the original of his one that I did in reaction to the Yensicorn one, and they dug him. But yeah, when we were gonna be on FNL, I did that one cartoon, and I just sent it to them as a here you go, ha ha ha, and they put it up on the page. So when we all logged into the Twitch channel, there was my cartoon on there, and I freaked out. Like, what is this doing on there? I didn't. Okay, that's cool, I guess.
Yeah, I kind of had the same feeling when they did our trailer on it before they had our FNL.
That trailer was awesome.
Oh, thank you.
It's a
We're very jealous.
real testament to devs and Jens and Meps, I think, that they're willing to get this stuff, the trailers, the pictures, and then put them for display for people that wouldn't necessarily know who these people are or have seen anything before, but they'll put it out there for everyone to see, and I think that's something very good.
It's a real testament, isn't it, Rob?
Yes, it is fun.
It is a testament. I agree.
Absolutely a testament.
Yeah, it's a real testament, I find.
Oh.
This is like the Revengencers TS server.
It gets
So,
worse.
you were mentioning your Revengencers comic. When is issue 2 coming out? Or issue 9, or whatever number the issue is supposed to be?
It's officially issue 2, but since I'm doing it in the raid sequence, it's issue 9. The first 3 pages are out, and I think I sent you those pages.
Shh, don't tell anyone.
I mean, no, that's crazy talk. It's not out yet. I don't do everything at once. I'll do a few pages at a time. And I got the first 3 pages out before SOE Live, and I released them privately on our site for the League members to see before I'll release them to the public, the community, if you will. And I've got the next 10 pages drawn. I need to color them. There's a lot more of effects in them than I planned on, and it's kind of frustrating. And I'm going to get on that shortly. So the next 3 pages in the next week.
Sweet.
So is there any particular comics artist or writer that particularly influences what you do? Or
Keith Giffen.
Keith
Keith Giffen for the humor style. Because I if I was going to go serious, it wouldn't be as good of a book, I think, because we're not serious. I mean, there are times when we get frustrated and we rant and whatnot, but for the most part, we're just there to have fun and be stupid. So,
sorry.
Go ahead.
But what's Keith Giffen's storylines? What comics has he drawn?
The Justice League reboot in the 80s with Batman and Guy Gardner and
Oh,
Mr.
the
Gold.
Justice League International.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say that. Not was it the International?
It
No, I
was
know
just
which one you
Justice
mean.
League first, and then
Yeah.
it was Justice League International.
With Max Lord as the boss.
Right, and Oberon. Yeah, he's a big influence. Serious-wise, I love Frank Miller. I think he's great. Mark Miller.
What
I
about
like
Grant
Jeff
Morrison?
Grant Morrison?
Yeah.
On acid or not?
Is he ever not on it?
I think I've read 3 or 4 pages of some of his stuff where you could tell he was sober. Grant Morrison's got some good stuff. Final Crisis, that was not bad. Not bad. God, who else? Yeah, Mark Miller. Artist-wise, oh man, I got a ton. John Buscema was my first artist that I really, really dug. Brian Hitch, I love his work. Love it, love it, love it. Jim Lee, good stuff. Dave Mazzucchelli, who did Daredevil in the 80s with Frank Miller. Just really, really good stuff. Alex Maleev, who did the new Daredevil stuff with Brian Michael Bendis. I like that style.
Are you familiar with the artist Brian Bolland as well?
Yes, I am.
The Killing Joke.
I do like him.
I read an interesting story the other day actually about the Killing Joke, and it was saying that basically the end of the Killing Joke is Batman killing the Joker, and it's actually written into the story that you're meant to take away the fact that Batman kills the Joker at the end of the Killing Joke, and I didn't realise that before.
First I'm hearing of it.
Yeah, it's something to do with because you've got that iconic scene with Batman and Joker at the end, and they're both laughing at a joke that the Joker's just told, and then there's sirens in the background and police lights, and then the Joker's laughing just cuts off all of a sudden, and apparently that's when Batman breaks his neck.
Oh,
Alright.
I thought he just punched him to shut him up. Oh, okay. Well, that's another way to go.
Yeah, so
Who knew?
who knew?
If I could be so bold as to steer us away from the art talk and bring up the Revengencers guides, particularly to FOS 3. To the FOS 3, truly inspiring.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've always loved the sniper buff.
The sniper buff is the best buff. It's not as good as the pothead buff.
Yeah,
it's
well,
close.
but it's... The pothead buff wasn't out at the time.
I can't imagine how many people have tried to sneak through the tier 5 alerts in House of El Armor, thinking that they'll actually be able to do that.
Oh, it can be done. It takes a long time, but it can be done. Woo.
That was very entertaining, that was.
The first time they got posted, I was in tears. The thing is, though, when you post these videos, I don't know if you guys have found the same thing, but do you ever get any lashback, I guess is the word, people sending you tell saying that's not how it's supposed to be done, a misunderstanding of how it was supposed to be portrayed? Or has the response to them been pretty solid and, entertainment?
I'm proud to say that 99% of everyone that watches it realizes that if they do what we're doing in these videos, life will be bad. We've had a couple comments on YouTube for the FOS 3 one. We had a comment. The guy said, "I don't have a full formal suit. Where do I get the chest piece?" We get like one or two comments where it's like, "This is totally wrong. This isn't working. What am I doing wrong?" And we're not intending it to be, purposely deceitful.
Yeah.
But we have fun with it, and that's what we're going to do. And the reason that we started putting out the TC guides is because we're gigantic fans of all the Odyssey guides. Gigantic fans. And we're like, well, we should do our own guides. And then Zekarok and Gant were like, well, then let's make them total crap.
Let's do the total antithesis of what Odyssey are doing.
We're all about it. We're totally going to do that, and we did, and we have fun with it.
Can we expect more?
Yes, we would love to be able to do a TC Nexus guide, but we suck at Nexus, so.
So you have to wait until you're good at it until you can do it badly.
I'm proud to say that I solo healed Nexus last week, and we completed it.
Awesome.
Nice.
And Mitchell is my healing god, so big shout out to Mitchell.
Try not to tell him that.
We'll cut that bit out.
Okay. Mitchell's the best. Sorry.
But before this started, you did ask why Mitchell doesn't use bug form, and we had to have this lengthy discussion. And it's an inside joke. He never uses bug form, and anyway.
I don't use bug form because Mitchell doesn't use bug form.
That's the easy answer to that question, isn't it? Why don't you use bug form? Well, Mitchell doesn't.
Mitchell said no, so I don't. The only time I use bug form is in PvP.
Throws people off a bit, does it, kind of thing?
It will cleanse a debuff. Shape changing in nature cleanses debuffs. You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah. Pro tips. I guess bring it back more focused to DCUO. We were talking about Nexus raids. I mean, what's your favorite content in the game at the moment?
At the moment, I do like me some Nexus. I mean, we're getting better at it, and it's frustrating as hell. I do like Nexus. I'm super psyched about some of the content in the Sons of Trigon that's coming out.
Anything in particular?
I like the Gotham Wastelands. I think it's really, really well done.
It looks very cool.
Yeah, the floating chunks of Earth with the little cityscapes on them. I'm pissed that I can't fly up and check them out.
Yeah.
I like the mouths spewing lava in the open world. That's just creepy, man. Superboy, that's alright, I guess. I do like I like the stupid stuff in the game. So like the little tour things that you have to do in the Wastelands with Cyborg and Beast Boy commenting on it. Those are hilarious. I really like those.
Yeah, I heard a lot of comments from people about the just the character interactions more so than anything else. It's quite entertaining.
And I'm a big fan of Susan Eisenberg doing Wonder Woman.
Oh, who isn't?
Oh,
She is
glorious. I love
brilliant.
Gina Torres. I love Gina Torres. But it's nice to hear Wonder Woman talk without yelling all the time.
So, of all the things that you've done in DCU, either in-game or as part of the community, what is the thing that you're most proud of?
The most proud of? Keeping Splinter from embarrassing himself when Spittle's on. He's got kind of a bro crush on Spittle. That and just how the league is, I'm not going to say grown, but matured. That's probably the wrong word also.
Yeah, I've met most of them. I don't think that's right.
Yeah, mature is probably the wrong word to use. No, I'm proud of how our league's been going.
Evolved, I guess, would be...
Thank you, Evolved.
I thought you was going to say Testament again then.
Just because I'm educated and I have a large vocabulary, Mr. Flame Fury.
It is a testament to our maturity, how we've evolved.
Yeah, it's a real testament
Oh,
to you.
God.
Real testament that you've got a big vocabulary.
We're going to have to edit the whole thing.
Nice.
And conversely, the most embarrassing moment in DCUO for you?
Oh, God. How long is this podcast?
Yeah, go on. Tell us all.
Well, the most embarrassing was wearing PvP gear in an alert when I first started playing the game. That was embarrassing. Why am I dying? I'm a tank.
We've all been there. I think a few people still do it to this day.
Oh, I ran the first room in Nexus in PvP gear like an idiot. That was great. But the embarrassing things that we do in the game end up making the best kind of comic books, or the comics rather. So everyone else is embarrassing. I say fodder.
So have you got any questions that you'd like to ask us as Odyssey?
Have you
Yes,
actually come
actually.
prepared this time? The first person to actually come up with something before they come on the show.
I have a few questions. Let me go through my list.
Okay.
This question is from Splinter Cell. Nope, I can't read that. And that is not how you spell genitalia, Splinter. From Lady Phantom. Lady Phantom would like Tesseract to record herself reading the phone book and send it to him. He's a big fan of the voice.
Oh, okay.
I've got that one that you did for me, Tess. I can...
Yeah, just send that on.
Just for you will get signed copies and pictures sent out.
Swell. Senorita Sparkles would like Tesseract again to send her unicorn pelts and horns at her earliest convenience, since we all found out that the unicorn is the national animal of Scotland.
I knew I shouldn't have brought that up.
You shouldn't have, and it's all your fault.
Yep. Unicorn pelts and horns.
And horns. Very important. She's making this suit. We don't talk about it.
Okay.
How many active members do you have running on average?
6.
I can tell by the TeamSpeak channel, that's not correct.
We've got, 4 different static teams which have got mostly unique individuals in them.
Yeah, I mean, I think 25 to 30.
And
Do
a
you
couple
have-
again that are just sort of popping in every now and again.
We have had nights where people haven't been able to get onto TeamSpeak because it's been capped.
Wow. What's your cap? 25?
36, I think.
Wow. We're happy if we get at least 6 on.
We've also got faction from Guild Wars 2 as well, because we've got a fair few of our players play that as well.
Oh, that's all right.
So we've got a couple of people that only play Guild Wars 2, so they tend to stick down in the Guild Wars 2 channel.
Who is your best DPS? Who's going to get the statue when the League Halls come out?
Oh,
That's
man.
probably the bastard in Raid B.
A guy called Stable.
I am Rob, actually. I DPS'd him last night.
But he was playing electric. I don't
Well,
know
so did I.
if he was hard light.
I'm playing your shit, man.
I
guess
knew this
she
question was
well
gonna start
and
this.
stable.
Yeah, it's hard to define if you look at the overall damage versus deaths and power in and stuff. I'd say Stable has the best analytical mind. He'll go into a power set, dissect it, put it back together, look at the best loadouts, and then pass it out. And he's great at executing it as well.
He's like the Mr. Terrific of Odyssey.
Sweet.
And yeah, I would say I'm a dab hand at damage.
A dab hand.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's
Well,
a real testament to you, Rob, as a player.
It is a testament. Another testament to Onhur is that I use his electric DPS guide when I run electric.
That's probably better out of date now.
Yeah.
Well, Rob is always going for the overpowered power sets.
I don't know
nice.
about overpowered, he goes for the face rolls.
I was going to go Quantum, and then I couldn't because Rob had stole it, and I'm in the same static group as him, so we can have 2 people playing Quantum. DPS, I mean.
But you play Mentors,
But
very
you're-
unique.
The Mental was my original power set, so I've come full circle now. That's my story arc finished.
I thought it was gadgets.
I don't think you were really a circle there, Flame. I think you were kind of all over the place.
A hectagon.
I don't think there's a power set you didn't try. Sony has just thank you to Flame Fury for the next couple of DLCs being based purely on the amount he's spent on tokens and stuff.
Which none of it was my fault because I was raiding with
Not my fault either.
Coco
What's kind of your
No,
fault?
it's not my
and
fault.
I was
know
playing
where you're getting
Nature,
at.
and then Borsha decided to change from a healer to DPS, so I couldn't play Nature either. Couldn't play Quantum because of Rob, so I went back to Mental. I thought, sod
I
the
hate it
love
when that happens.
It's a stupid DPS and they're overwriting.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. I don't know why that's still... I mean,
Yeah.
I understand the theory behind it, but it really affects the kind of
Nature
people
is
that...
the worst.
Oh. You can double heal nature. You can.
Oh yeah, easy.
It can be done.
Yeah.
It's when you're trying to kill something, like a boss, and you have 2 nature deeps in a group. It's not happening.
Who hits their damage over time last?
Right.
So let's ask a question based on that then. I mean, what would you change within DCUO? What's the biggest element that you think you'd change or introduce?
The biggest element? Good grief. I'd go ahead and
Element.
suck it up and let the guy that does Calculator's voice do Booster Gold's voice again.
God, yeah.
Not that I have anything against who they got to replace him, but the guy that's doing his voice now just sounds like he's being
Depressed.
like he's being put out to do it. And he sounds old. Not super old, but he doesn't sound like Booster Gold. What we were just talking about, not the dot overriding, but the field overriding. Like if I've got 2 fire DPS in my group, I want them to be able to throw down Infernos and not worry about one canceling the other out. For Quantum, that field thing. For Nature, the Briars, I want to be able to, split the damage, split it, whatever you got to do, but they've got to be viable.
Yeah.
What else? I would love if they would change the flight animation. That would be great. I'd like to fly like Superman flies, with both of his arms out front. I wouldn't mind a couple more emotes because again, we're all about the fun. God, I can't think of anything else right off the bat.
I'm amazed you haven't mentioned unicorns.
I was saving that for the end.
You're gonna say,
But
okay.
but now that you've brought it up, we need.
Sorry. We can edit this out,
Well, if I put a chair in my base, I want to be able to sit in it.
That was the biggest thing they talked about at SOE Live.
Oh, really?
Was the ability to interact with lair items, which I respected, but it's purely cosmetic. Really, you want them to concentrate on that. But yeah, that was the biggest thing that people wanted.
Oh wow.
And Locke and I think Tunso both worked on Star Wars Galaxies, and they were talking about how in Star Wars Galaxies you could interact with stuff in your base or your whatever they called it, and the way they do it is they would shrink your character whenever you were trying to interact with something. So if like you were playing a Wookiee and you were too big for the chair, your model would shrink so you could fit into the chair. And they had like 15 minutes where they were talking about that. Okay, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this, and they were writing everything down. So, hooray!
Oh, cool.
Wow.
Another big thing they talked about was being able to stack lair items on each other, like putting a table on a carpet and then the lamp on the table. I just thought that would be obvious, but what do I know? But yeah,
That would be super cool.
That would be nice. Those blue crystal things for the lairs that are super tiny, they look kind of stupid on the floor. I wouldn't mind them on a table. But speaking of unicorns, the Revengencers need Odyssey's help. If you followed the mayhem that's ensued from us talking about unicorns on our FNL, people want unicorns. If not unicorns, then unicorn trinkets. And we have a clip from the Meet the Devs panel.
I've seen that, actually.
Yeah, where Zikarak brought up the unicorn trinket, and the entire place erupted into applause, and they did not like that at all. And Jens told us that if we could find references to unicorns in the DC universe, then they would be compelled to seriously consider the matter. And after he told us that, we saw an episode of the Teen Titans where Raven turns villains into unicorns. Yes, it's the animated show, but it is DC related, so we're going to go with it. But we would like Odyssey to help us in promoting the idea of the unicorn trinket.
I think we should dress Tess up as a unicorn and post the pictures online.
While she reading the phone book?
Yeah.
I'm gonna veto this suggestion.
Just whatever y'all could do to back up our campaign for the unicorn trinket. We haven't decided what we want the unicorn trinket to be. Right now,
I'm not sure it matters.
No, it doesn't matter. Right now, we're considering actually changing into a unicorn, or at the very least, sporting a horn and shooting rainbows out of it. Something like that.
I think that would tie in really nicely with the magic stuff.
See, I do too. Exactly.
How about a unicorn pet?
I would not say no to a unicorn pet. Granted, I would never use it, but Senorita Sparkles wants it, and that's good enough for us. But yeah, they have that little crab boy pet, and every other pet in the game. I think a unicorn would be fine. That'd be great.
We will do what we can to support this.
We appreciate it. That'd be awesome. And everyone listening, if you could jump on the bandwagon as well. Because there's nothing they love more than Tells on the forums screaming for unicorn trinkets. Let me tell you.
Especially when they're queuing for PvP on the FNL.
Oh, good grief.
You could send them Tells then. Or group requests. Even more popular.
Just make sure you make a character with the name Unicorn somehow in there.
Odyssey in no way endorses this behaviour.
Yeah.
The Revengencers do. It's all our fault.
We just like to see Angry Spittle.
Angry Spittle is the best. At the SOE Live, at the pool party, lots of stuff happened at the pool party. But at the pool party, we started talking to him about the Man of Steel movie. And he is not a fan. He is not a fan at all.
With good reason.
A 7-minute tirade about everything that was wrong with the movie, and we just asked if he liked it. So that was good stuff. But yeah, Angry Spittle's the best when he's doing the FNL pre-show and people spam him with group invites and you see him turn to the other keyboard. That's him banning those players.
I think Angry Spittle would be a good Lex Luthor for the new movie. Maybe.
He doesn't really seem to get angry to me though. He on the forums when people make these threads and they say something really stupid, he'll jump in and he'll argue, I guess is the best way to say it, but
yeah,
with logical reasoning, and he's not afraid to tell people, look, this is the way the game is going because of XYZ reasons.
Right, and I respect that.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And he doesn't get angry. I think he's passionate, is what I always describe him as.
Well, I think it's unique, isn't it? Because you don't really see this happening in any other game. You don't often get to see the dev team like speaking to you,
right,
telling you what's happening. So
the other live casts that Sony does for their games, they don't have developers doing them. It's always community managers and whatnot. Yeah, DCUO has it's dev happy. They're all about throwing the devs out there, and I dig that.
Yeah, it's a true testament to their passion.
It is a testament.
Do we have any other questions, Supertoad? Any questions? Any more questions for us? Anything else to say?
I need screenshots of all your active members.
All of them.
All of them.
All
I
of
need them. I need them. Either I can meet you on the EUPC side to take them, or you can send them to the DCUO forums. But the second issue has 4 members of Odyssey appearing in it.
Dun dun dun!
Ooh.
And I know what they look like, but I need everyone else because the third issue is the cameo issue with everyone that we hang out with that we know.
Well, we greatly look forward to this, and we will see about getting you those pictures.
That's definitely going to happen. No worries there.
Awesome. We love your league. We love your league, and you guys do a whole lot for the community, and I know Spittle says it a lot, but for the Revengencers side, I mean, we think you guys are great. You do an awesome job. We respect you all very, very much.
Oh, man.
We respect you all so much that whenever we accomplish something that every other league has done easily several times, our battle cry at the end of it is, "Suck it, Odyssey." So after our 6.5-hour Nexus run, that's what we yelled, I'll tell you.
The admiration is the same for us as well. I've said to these guys before when I read your posts from your guys and I've seen these videos and stuff, and I know they're intended to be comical, but there's not many people out there that produce something worth watching in terms of DCUO at the moment. So it's very good.
Thank you, thank you. The videos are Zekarok and Gant. They rock those out. They do a really good job.
They do indeed.
Ooh. So I think that's covered everything for the interview. If we have no more questions, I'd like to thank Supertoad for joining us today. It's been very kind of you to take some time out of your day on a Sunday to join us.
Thank you for having me. I had fun.
It's been great to have you.
I don't doubt it. Remember,
Real
uniform
testament.
trinket, everyone.
And we're back, guys. That was our interview with Supertoad. Glad you enjoyed it. I know that I did. And I think that's all we have for today's show for you. So, from me and the rest of the gang, and her, Tesseract, and Borsha, and myself, Flame Fury, thanks for viewing, and we look forward to seeing you again. We won't see you, but...
Before we go, though, just to remind people of our event on EUPC next week.
Event?
Event? Have you not been organising something for us, Flame Fury?
Yeah. Sunday the 24th of August. Sunday the 25th of August, next Sunday. Or next Sunday for us. 4 PM in the Watchtower, EUPC, Hall of Heroes, costume contest. No entry fee. Prizes. First prize 500k. Second prize is 250k. Third prize is 150k. So turn up in all your DC finery. The costume theme is DC Universe characters. So try and make your characters as unique as possible while still retaining the spirit of the character you're portraying. And just turn up. There's no entry fee. As many of you there as possible would be great. And there's big prizes for those of you that win. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a great day. So that's 4 p.m. Sunday the 25th of August. Hope to see you all there. Anyway, from us in the Lockbox, we'll see you again soon.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you.